There's a lot of brand new player guide videos out there. This is not one of them. This is for you guys that know what Tarkov is and just want a helping hand, a little boost from someone who has played thousands and thousands of hours of Tarkov. Whether you're a beginner, a novice, whatever, there should probably be something in here that you can learn a little bit from. We're going to go over some money runs, some settings, keybinds, inventory management strategies, barter trades, gunsmith quests, etc. and get some stuff done. Almost every raid, within the first 15 seconds, if there's a little pack of lost symbol in the top right corner, that almost guarantees you that the boss on the certain map is not up.
All right, let's make it over to this blue container here, and then if there's lag, we know the boss is not here.
That's true. We are freaking Customs Pro.
Customs are us.
True.
Lag.
No, not. Oh, there it is. Yep.
There it is.
Every time, man. Keybinds. This is something that I feel like is extremely important and are often overlooked. The sooner you can get into a good rhythm with your keybinds with something that just works for you, the better. There's a couple of crucial ones I want to go through, but I know a lot of people ask me about my keybinds, so I'm going to go through that real quick. You can pause the video if you want to take a peek, whatever. But there's a couple of crucial ones we're going to talk about. So if you don't want to change all your keybinds, you want to keep most of the things default, I do recommend one bind. First of all, discard. Bind that to a key. I have it on X. Personally, what this does is that when you drag around loot, you can easily drop it in your inventory like so. And that is important when you're in a raid, because the more time you spend looting, the more chance of you getting snuck up on and clapped from behind. Next button is check your time. There's some useless bind right now, okay? And I'm just going to say useless because it is. There's check time, which is normally set to O, and then there's check time and exit, which is set to double press. Just get rid of the other one and have O to just press, because every time you use time, you might as well get the whole extracts up. You can see if there's any cab that's been taken or anything like that. And lastly, we're going to talk about how to fix a malfunction easily in Tarkov. What you do is you have inspect current weapon set to default L, have it on press, and then furthermore you have check chamber / fix malfunction. Change this to release. Do that first and then set this to L. What that happens is when you have a malfunction, you hold L. Now once it's inspected and it says the arrow in the bottom right corner, you release and it instantly fixes the malfunction. So you don't have to use 3, 4, 5, 17 different keybinds to do such a simple thing. But those are all my keybinds. You guys can go through them, see if you like them or change them or whatever you want to do. Just find something that works for you, because keybinds and just having a smooth workflow is crucial in Tarkov. This is an insane money strategy that you can do early on if you're far enough along to have a Jaeger level 3, so you can do the barter trade for a red rebel pickaxe. Do not buy it from other players. It's so expensive. Do the barter trade. It's way cheaper. What this strategy is, we go reserve, we hit up the 2 marked rooms. Now those keys are 1 mil each right now, 900k to a milli. But that's not bad, because you can make all that money and more back from each key hitting up those rooms. When you've then hit each room 9 times each, except the basement one, because that one's trash, we only focus on the 2 upper ones. They're 1 use each. We use the 3rd key and we combine them all, do a trade up to a dorm's marked room key. If you wanted one of those, you have to pay upwards of like 3 milli on the flea market as of today's date. So you get another 10 uses to go hit up Dorm's marked room for free. And here's a clear example of how wild it gets. Here I got an ammo case. Now these are today's prices. An ammo case that was 700k, an injector's case that was 800 something k, and a dog tags case that went for 300k. Already there, I've made bulkers of moulash. So how do you do it? Most of the times you'll spawn closer to the RBBK room than the RBVO room. The RBVO room is in the other corner of the map. If I do spawn near that, I hit that, I follow this edge around the entire map, go hit up the other marked room, and if I don't spawn near RBVO, I just go straight for this marked room. I might hit a couple of duffel bags in the same building, and then I hit up this mountain here, go loot these 2 houses. One of them has 1 safe and a PC and a couple of filing cabinets. The other one has 2 safes in it. Now that key is right here. This is the one you want for that. I usually get through a run in like 5 minutes after the queue time. I personally run a 5.7 or any other pistol, so I can carry 2 major guns from those marked rooms too, because they have an ocean of guns. On average, I'd say I get 1 container, but you can get up to 3. I haven't got more than 3. It could probably happen. Make sure you don't bring in an ejector's case. You can only carry 2 of those. If you find 2, you have to drop your own, and that wouldn't be good. So this wipe has been great, and I think the favorite thing about this wipe is the fact that the recoil has been reworked in Tarkov. This makes almost every gun viable regardless of build, in the sense that you can use it. So off the bat, when you start the game up, you get this naked M4 as a USAG, and it's just good, even with no attachments on it. So I highly recommend using whatever gun you want and fiddle around with them to find your best gun to play with. But at the same time, use whatever you have, because anything can actually shoot now without going to heaven. I often get asked, what settings should I use? Now, personally, I don't know. Okay, these are the settings that I use. They might be better for my PC than they are for your PC. Depends on your hardware, all that stuff. I will add a note to a couple of things. I like to have AA, the FX AA instead of the really high. While it makes it very smooth, it almost looks a little motion blurry. And completely off is just a little too sharp for me. So I use that for this. This gives me the max frames. Personally, for my setup, it might not be the best for yours. But a lot of people ask me what I use. And also my post effects is right here. It's what works for me, man. And as many guides as there are out there about your settings for maximum FPS, you gotta fiddle around with it a little bit to find out what works for you in this case too. Sit down, go into an offline raid, and shut the hell up while we're doing a video, Mr. Scav. Oh my goodness, it's Scav Army. Look at him. Oh. We can edit that out. This is by far my favorite farm to do. It's on Lighthouse. You go into this building right here. I do have a full-fledged guide video on this. That's on my YouTube channel where it goes into all the rare loot spawns and stuff too. But essentially what happens when you enter this water treatment, you can go into the right building, follow the wall all the way up, go into the right kitchen room, and just sit tight and they will all come to you. So you open the door and tap one by one, and as they come in waves, you close the door again so they do that whole door animation. Sometimes they'll even glitch through the door and you just tap them. Even though they glitch into the door, they're not going to go through it. They're still going to open it and come through that way. Sometimes you'll have two, but as long as you just pay attention to where I'm shooting for the headshots here, you just line it up right there and instantly tap as soon as they open the door and you'll get them done. It's easy peasy. So I've gone ahead and pre-searched all their bodies so we can just quickly show it. We got a gun here, trash ammo, healing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We got a nice little AK here. Again, these AK Max can have BP in it. Not lucky this time. That's a level 3 armor. We got a backpack here with $500 in it. A good headset, MCX. And they all come with an AFAC too, so you'll be stocked up on healing for the wipe if you do this a couple of times. And yeah, that's the gear you get. Troop armor too. You can get lucky and get a hex grid armor from these Joes too. There's all kinds of goody stuff. And these are just scavs rolling in now. So when all is said and done, this is what I ended up with. My insurance brought my armor that I brought in and the rig. I got this instead, 2 guns. I got a little extra attachment or 2 on that. Lots of AFAC healings, PS ammo for days with these max selling for a little bit too. 2 of these switchblade backpacks, a little heal there, another T20 backpack. I got a little MCX, HK, 6 round of PS there, and all of this jazz. So overall, include the $500. So that's a decent run, man. And you can just run out now, go up, take the cab extract, and if that's not up, you run over the mountains. If you have to, pop a mule. But first, I'm going to check if the cab is up, run up here, see if it's up. And if it's not up, we just take the mountain all the way out the path to shoreline. This is how I like to invest my rubles early on in Tarkov. There's some of these things that aren't really necessarily a thing anymore because we're into the wipe. But something to keep in mind, a note of for next wipe too. GPUs is one of them. They're now all the way up at 500k because Bitcoin prices RL relates to in-game Bitcoin prices. So if Bitcoin is up RL, it's going to be up in price in Tarkov too. It's just linked that way together. These GPUs went for like 100 to 150k in the first week of wipe. Highly recommend you grab as many as you can early on because you get that Bitcoin farm up and rolling and you start rolling in the dough. Next up, there's a trade up that I'd like to talk about too, which is from level 2 mechanic. This is just me having him level 3. You trade in 2 green batteries and 2 Tetrises. That adds up to about a little over 200k, and you can sell that Bitcoin for 600k. So if you set an alarm, if you have mechanic level 2, you set an alarm for it whenever that trade refreshes and you can buy it. You have about 10-15 seconds to buy it before it's completely sold out. Another trade up I like to use is I buy 5 fuses like that, little less than 10k each this time. And then we go in, barter trade offers, and I can buy 5 of these Vox 17 nades, which are my favorite nades to use in Tarkov. Huge way to get some nades, and it helps a lot with a Grenadier quest too, where you gotta get like 8 grenade kills. Early in wipe, I like to invest in duct tape, insulating tape, pack of nails, and paracords. This is used for a trade up at a max Jaeger level to 1 small sick case. If you get a lot of these early on, you can get them for very, very cheap. Again, we're kind of into the wipe now, so prices are going to start picking up. You can still kind of do this because these will still go up in price further. So if you'd like to have more than one of these, it's a good idea to just stack on these items early on in the wipe when it's extremely cheap. And lastly, if you have extra inventory space, you can always flop up some water filters before they go up to like 70, 80k later in the wipe. So that's just a couple of items that I like to keep my eyeballs out on because it will save me a lot of money in the long run. So if you play a lot early wipe, go ahead and invest in those GPUs, those items for your small sick case. And there's a couple of trade-ups that I like to use too. If you have another trade-up that you would like people to know about, leave a comment with it and I'll heart it for other people to see. Big brain bait trade-up right there, chat. What you do is you run all the fuel down in your hideout. 5 of these blue fuel containers. Then you buy 5 pistol cases, and then you trade it up for one of these. And then when you got 2 of these bad boys, okay, this is the next step. Now I have 2. So next trade up we do, we eliminate barter trades here. We go in and we look. All I need is 2 weapons case, 4 ammo, and 10 metal parts. So you don't buy the really expensive ammo boxes. If you're this far along where you can do this, you barter trade your way with this one, or you buy this one from the mechanic if you have that sold out. So you can set an alarm for it. It's a pretty sweet deal, man. So you buy these for 182k a pop, get 4 of them, and then you trade up to 1 thick weapons case. That's huge. These are my 2 Go headsets in Tarkov. This one's cheap, and Comtac 4s are basically like cheating. I'll explain to you why. These headsets come at a price, though, a little over 100k, sometimes a little bit below, and these are really cheap, around like 26k or something like that. But at the cheap headset, I started hearing the target down there about here. So let's go ahead and slap on the Comtac 4s instead. Now with the Comtac 4s, I started hearing this guy all the way down here. Not only that, not only do you get that superior distance and sound, you also sometimes, now this is a little controversial, you shouldn't show a bug or a glitch fug, but if all the chats know about it and know how to use it, then you should too. That's the whole point of this video, is you should have the same playing field as anybody in Tarkov. There's currently a bug with the Comtac 4s, only that headset, where there will be an extremely loud, one little sound, like a step, a bush, or something. That's a target. As soon as they come into this vicinity here, sometimes, occasionally, you'll hear the first sound they make, like they were right next to you. So like a footstep, or a bush, or anything like that they touch, occasionally you'll get that sound glitch. So you'll even have an even more unfair advantage to people who are using other headsets. So combine the Comtac 4s with that little sound glitch that they do have that hasn't been fixed in I don't know how long. I mean, to me, having that Comtac 4 often is more valuable than having armor, because sound is everything. And especially if you play a little slower as a solo player, you will so many more times hear these other players before they hear you, especially when you run into groups, because they hear each other's footsteps and all that too. Sound is key in Tarkov, and if you want that upper hand advantage, investing in these bad boys will keep you far ahead with a huge advantage. So spend a little extra, 60k extra on a headset if you want to play like that. I like playing like that. You might like playing like that. It's up to you. However, this headset, just to clarify why I use this, is often I'm a W key player and I push way too aggressive. So that's kind of why I use them sometimes. And Comtac 4s, if I'm more on questing and slowing it down and not W keying extremely fast all the time. Inventory management is where I see the most newer players and novice players waste time or struggle. There's a couple of things here. They're very simple and you need to be doing this. First of all, we talked about the discard bind earlier. Have that bound to instantly drop items. But furthermore, when you're looting containers, let's say you found this little piece of loot, random stuff here. Control and left click will instantly drag it into your inventory. Just like that. See how the gun went in here? That's control left click. But if you wanted to equip equipment such as a weapon or headset, instead of control, you use alt and left click to instantly flop it on your character. If you get these binds locked in, you can loot so much more efficiently versus dragging each item that you find in there, and sometimes you drag it on top of other stuff a couple times before you get it in there on the slot it needs to go. And that's really it. It's such an important thing to use the control left click and the alt left click to transfer gear and items. Let's say you have a kill 2, you want to transfer all your items from your bag into his bag. Control left click does the same thing too. So get those keybinds locked into your brain. No more dragging items, okay? So let's talk presets. This is something that a lot of people are not using. I only occasionally use this for very specific things. This is because it also replaces all your keys inside whatever container you have for the time. While this is a good idea if you only want one small stick container or one key tool, one docs case, it'll automatically swap out the keys with whatever keys you have in the save preset. So let me give you an example. A good thing is to just have that really basic loadout with your go-to items. If you always use the same backpack, the Suck Rig is a very good one. It's cheap and has a lot of room. Whatever your preferred headset is, I'm kind of a cheapskate right now, so I have the M32s instead of the Comtech 4s, even though the Comtech 4s are basically like cheating. You can hear everything. I press equip. I got my healing. I just got a bind. I'm a cheapskate with the nade early wipe too because we're broke all the time. We always have quest items to buy. And then down here, all I got to do is I got to find the sick case of the map I'm going to, drag in money if there's a cab extract, or I get rid of the money like that. Injectors all saved the way I like it. My golden star is in there. Now I just got to flop on a gun, armor, etc. And if I can't buy the backpack, or if I don't want that backpack, we could also just equip the loadout, but ignore the backpack when we go to the purchase screen. So to summarize here, I only use it two ways. One for my reserved marked room loadout run, because it's very specific to that alone. And then I have this basic loadout that I occasionally will flop on just to get it going, so I don't have to drag in healing, nades, injectors, etc. So if I just want the basics on, I can slap that on, then I go manually put on whatever armor I want on, whatever helmet, whatever gun, and we'll take it from there. This is more of a personal preference. I like to map out the gunsmith quests so I can easily access them in the future. I'll also give you another example here. There's some attachments that are extremely expensive, and then the Wikipedia page, if you use that, tells you have to use this scope, but that's not necessarily true. This scope right here was 250k when I had to do this. I did this, flopped that on instead, and got it for cheap. Now the prices have calmed down again, but future builds from the Gunsmith questline might have similar options where something might be really expensive and something's cheaper. Another example is when you find that really expensive item, you can always right click, filter by item. Now in this case there's probably not going to be any, but look for barter trades. You might have a vendor unlock that's extremely cheap to do that you can do instead of paying 300, 400, 500k for one attachment for those quest lines. So look at it, make sure you read through the quest line, and don't always settle for the really expensive one attachment, because most of the times you don't really have to pay that much to do it. Presets are great. There's a right and a wrong way to build your guns in Tarkov. So when you go to find parts, it'll list all the parts, but the first thing you do is you buy the base M4 here, because there's a lot of attachments here that it will rebuy, such as the barrel here, the receiver, the gas block, a couple of other attachments here. So first off, we buy the M4. Try that again. Now it says we need 200k more. That ain't right. So we select the M4 we just bought. Press assemble, buy, and then we buy the rest of it for 160k instead. And you're ready to roll. This works with any gun build that you have, except if it's like fully customized with every single attachment, that it might make more sense to buy a completely naked M4 instead. Goes for any guns. That's the right way to build it. I figured I'd let some people know, because there's probably some people out there buying every attachment every time they're making their presets. So buy the gun first and then buy the rest. Let's talk third-party tools. I use a couple of different ones. First off is MapGenie.io. This map is crucial for new players to learn all of the extracts. You open up, you can hide everything, and then you can select, all right, I just want to see extractions, or I want to learn where all the valuables are at on this map, because there's a ton of valuables on Lighthouse. This is a huge tool for any map that you not necessarily feel too comfortable on, or maybe you just want to see, all right, where's all the LEDXs at on Shoreline, and you pull it up, and it'll show you every room. Then furthermore, you could also see, okay, well, where's all the locked rooms at on this map? What kind of keys would I need to go where? It's a huge thing to use MapGenie and Tarkov, in my opinion. It allows you to advance at a much quicker pace than somebody who does not use a map to see where they're at. Next up, we got EFT Ammo. This website shows you all of the ammo in all of Escape from Tarkov. This is very important for new players and, you know, advanced players. Some people don't really pay too much attention to ammo and maybe don't know the details of all of it. It's good to look up your ammo type, so you could use either HP, maybe you got some HP in your inventory, or you have some BT in your inventory, which is way better. You can see here the bullet effectiveness against armor class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0 is bad, bad. Green is good, good. So the more green you can have, the more chance you have of killing an armored dude. So EFT Ammo, if you just want to look up some ammo and see, all right, is this trash or is it smash? That's where you get that intel. And lastly, this is something that I just started using, this wipe. It's called Tarkov Dash Market, and you can look up any item in Tarkov right here. So let's say you find anything, such as the Apollo Siggies. Early on, they were like 15k, but now I can look it up and see, all right, they're just 7k. I don't need to loot that anymore. Or maybe you have a question about an item in raid. Is the tape worth looting yet? Oh yes, it's gone up in price, and these jump up even further sometimes depending on supply and demand. But it's just a very good tool to see what should I keep, what shouldn't I keep. You can even see the 24-hour change, the 7-day change in price here. So you can see, okay, well, let's take a look at the bulbs because they've gone down in price. Not as many people need it for their hideout anymore. They're past that, but there's still good money to loot. So this is a browser that I always have open. So this is just a tool that I like to have open while I game because I can easily tap in and out and see, all right, I found this item. I just got to go search real quick, look it up, see if it's worth for me to keep. I highly recommend using that. Early on in wipe, mid-wipe too, you'll have a lot of quests that match up on the same map. However, don't feel the need to do all the same quests in one run because you most likely will run into way more players than you want to if you're just focusing on getting some tasks done. Generally, all the maps, except Factory, has a lot of loot everywhere. So do your quest in like one area, fill your backs up, get out, and reset. That way you'll have a higher survival rate, more rubles to spend on the fun stuff, and you'll get quests done little by little versus going in zigzagging across the entire map to try to do all your quests because you think that that would be the best way to play. In my opinion, you should just focus on a little bit, get your pockets full, get out, reset, do it again. There's one thing you can do in your launcher, and that is to change your region from automatic to selecting every single server in your region. This makes your queue time a little bit faster than having it on auto. Almost every content creator, bigger streamer, or anybody that's played for a long time use this, so why shouldn't you get in a little faster too? And there you go. Little tab in between your placement and you can place the next one instantly without moving back and forth. Figure we might as well do this one in a live lobby. So here we are is dorms. There is so many jackets and safes in here, it's cracked out of its mind. So this is just going to be a run where I kind of do it live, and there'll probably be some players. I already heard some shotgunning over on the other side. I'll take you through the rooms that I like to use, and I'll link all the keys here on the screen for you to see too. And they're pretty cheap. Most of them are dropped in price by now, so it's very valuable if you are here to quest or just playing around with friends looking for something to do. Hit up all these rooms because you're bound to get something amazing. So 2 jackets here. Of course, we're only going to bring out the valuable, and then we go around back, try to do a double jump here where we land there, and then we do the next jump over into the window. Through here. Down here we got 2 safe rooms. Got a little PC, got a safe, and a little mid box over here too. So nothing too crazy in this room, unfortunately. But hey, loot is loot. Next up, we got a little safe in this room too, and then it's jackets all the way over to 3-story. Nice little intel there. That's good money. Now we got a player. Right here, motherfucker. See how we used the shoulder swap there? I show a lot less. Man, I just got an intel folder. It's amazing, dude. I'm rich. You don't want the smoke, pal, okay? Back off. Yeah, that's what I thought. So he's gonna come through that window there. A little bad play. I meant to go here and then more corner peek, but I didn't really have the time for it, so. Oh shit. Well, now that that's said and done, let's try that again, shall we? So that's these 2 safe rooms. Next up, over here we got a little cheeky one. Got 2 duffies, 1 to 2 duffies, then we got 2 jackets there. Over behind us where we jumped in, we also have a dead scav if you want to go a little extra. They can have some goodies. Like that. And we got a Duffy here at the entrance. Now remember, dynamic loot means that it's not always going to be there. After that, I head upstairs to the left. All the way down here to the right, we got some filing cabinets we can hit up. Close that one and loot it again. Now remember, with filing cabinets, you mainly get keys for the map you're on, except for rare keys. You could get any rare key for any map in any filing cabinet on any map. And after we've looted that, we can go in here. There's 2 more jackets for us to hit up. That'll be right next to this fence room here, barbed wire room. Then we run all the way down here and we got 2 open doors immediately left and right. We also have 2 guaranteed jackets on each side here. And over on the other side, the 2 other jackets. Blue tape goes for like 20 to 30k right now because of the small sick container barter trade for that. Then we're done with 2-story. We have heard a little bit of fighting over there, but let's get over and join the action. I think there's a guy in here, but we went up the backside, so we're gonna loot 214 here. There we got 1 safe. Not the luckiest outcome with the safes today so far. Check our corners as we push along. Looks like quest room here is still closed, so that's a good sign that he hasn't been on 2-story yet. If he had that quest. 2 jackets in this room just laying on the floor. They're always there. Some dynamic loot is there, and sometimes it's not. But some jackets are always there. Across here, we got a jacket too. Little Duffy. And a jacket. I think sometimes maybe a toolbox or something can spawn in this room too. So now we're all the way down at marked room. This is what we talked about. You can use this if you've used 3 reserved marked room keys. You can trade that up and get yourself a free dorms marked room key. No containers this time, but there's a couple of good guns. This is the new gun. The scope here will sell for 100k. The gun itself will go for 400k, so it's not a bad find at all. Drill is probably still 60k or something too. So overall, not a bad little room. Straight across here, we got 2 more jackets. Now, of course, you're probably not going to have marked room keys if you're wanting to do this farm right away. But if you have some ruples and you can do the reserve marked room first and then swap to a dorms marked room when you have them down to 1 use each, you can get some good profits on this little farm run here. And all the way down at 301, we got 2 more jackets hitting away here. You kind of got to lean a little bit to hit them both up. And we're going to move down 1 floor here from the outside. Go in immediate left. 2 more jackets to hit. And then over here, we got a safe room again. Nice little bit of loot there. Morphine can spawn in that too. In here, you got 2 jackets. One of them is guaranteed a quest key. The other one, I don't really bother with because it's out of the way. And on the first floor, we got 118 that's got 2 jackets in it too. Of course, I don't have the key for some reason. I genuinely don't have space to loot anymore at this point anyway. But if you do want all the keys, 118 is also one you can snatch up. That was 105 here by the bottom door entrance. When you come all the way down here, we got 101 too. That's got 2 jackets hidden away in one of these closets. And lastly here in 104 right next to it, we also have 1 jacket. So overall, that's the loot we got from hitting a couple of safes up and stuff. It's not bad. We weren't really super lucky with the safes. Of course, we got some marked room guns too, so if we don't count those, we got a flash drive, we got some keys. Now, these keys could have been a good key. This is not bad loot for this run, but it could be a lot better with these saves and jackets. So hit it up while you're up here, while you're looting, doing quests, playing with friends. It's a good little money strategy. Figured I'd share it with you guys so you guys know about it because there's a lot of jackets to hit up here. And again, you can also use Map Genie to see the whole map with all the locked doors and see which key you need from there. But I'm going to put the keys right here on your screen. Bap. These are the ones you need. There's many more money farming type strategies we can do on different maps such as Lighthouse, Streets of Tarkov, etc. Streets of Tarkov, you loot anywhere, you get loaded up. There's so much loot on that map. Lighthouse has a ton of valuables. Interchange has a lot of electronics. Use the Map Genie tool from earlier to find out where the valuables are, and you can kind of make your own little farm route out of it. I wanted to talk about movement in this video too, but I feel like that would take up just too much space to talk about because there's so much to dig into there. So that'll be a different video altogether. However, with movement, the main thing I want to bring in is if you play with a group, don't stack up. Peek them from different angles. If you're playing as a solo and you're against a team, you don't have to re-peek the same angles over and over. Use the environment, use the map to rotate and peek different angles to get the unknown advantage on your enemy. I do hope you guys found something that you could use in this video. If you did, come over to the stream, kick.com/Fugglet, and watch some live Tarkov action. There'll be a lot more there, and also ask me any questions. I've played for years, so I'd love to share any knowledge I could. Kind of came up with the key moments here in this video. Hope you guys found something you could use. I'll see you guys in the next one.